Question number 31. Alex had $1.70 in nickels and dimes on his desk. There were 25 coins in all. Write a system of equations that can be used to determine both the number of nickels N and number of dimes D that Alex had. Well, the first thing we know is that we have nickels and dimes, and there's 25 coins in total. So if I want, I could write my first equation to be N plus D equals 25. Now, we know how much we have in terms of money. We have $1.70. So that's going to be our other equation, but now we have to associate a value with it. So we know a nickel is 5 cents, so we're going to have 0.05 N, and then we're going to have 0.10 D, because there's 10 cents in a dime, or a dime is 10 cents. That's what we have to do first. Now, part B says, use your system of equations to determine algebraically both the number of nickels and the number of dimes that he had. So if I look, I can rewrite my equation to be N plus D, or I rewrite my system, and then I have my 0.05 N plus 0.10 D equals 1.70. Now, you can do elimination or substitution for this. I'm going to do substitution. So if I look, my first equation is written in the form N plus D equals 25. What I can do is I can rearrange it to solve for N or D and then plug that equation into my other equation. So if I know N plus D is 25, let's solve for N. So we subtract D from both sides of our equation, and then we get N equals 25 minus D. That's what we're going to plug in for N into our second equation. So if I look at my second equation, we know our second equation is 0.05 N plus 0.10 D equals 170. Everywhere we see an N, we're going to plug in the 25 minus D. So we do 0.05 times 25 minus D, then we're going to add 0.10 D, and that's going to be equal to 1.70. Now, whenever we have a number attached to our parentheses, what we're going to do is we're going to distribute. So we do 0.05 times 25, and then 0.05 times -1. So if I go to my calculator and do 0.05 times 25, I get 1.25. So I have 1.25 minus 0.05 D plus 0.10 D equals 1.70. Now I have to ask myself, can I combine any like terms? And if I look, my like terms are negative 0.05 D and 0.10 D. So I'm going to do negative 0.05 plus 0.10, and I get 0.05. So now I have 1.25 plus 0.05 D equals 170. Now we want to get that variable by itself, so we're going to subtract 125 to both sides of our equation. And I do 1.70 minus 1.25, I get 0.45. Now we divide both sides of our equation by 0.05, and we get 9. So they're telling me that we have 9 dimes. But here's the thing, we need to solve for how many nickels we have. So if we look back at our original equation, it says N plus D equals 25, and then we have that other equation. I'd rather deal with the first equation because the numbers don't have decimals. So I rewrite it. So N plus D equals 25. And we know D is 9, so we're going to do N plus 9 equals 25. And then to solve that equation, I subtract by 9, subtract by 9. And I get N is equal to 16. So we have 16 nickels and 9 dimes. And that's how we solve question number 31.